From 2007 to 2023, we witnessed significant technological advancements, including the rise of smartphones, social media, and the development of artificial intelligence. The global economy experienced both growth and challenges, with the 2008 financial crisis having a lasting impact. There were geopolitical shifts such as the Arab Spring, Brexit, and the escalating tensions between major powers. Climate change became a prominent issue, leading to increased awareness and calls for environmental action. The COVID-19 pandemic, starting in 2019, had a profound effects on health, economies, and daily life worldwide. Throughout this period, ongoing discussions around inequality, diversity, and inclusion gained momentum, shaping societal conversations. Barack Obama was elected as the 44th president. His presidency focused on healthcare reform with the Affordable Health Care Act. Donald Trump became the 45th president, emphasizing issues like immigration, trade, and national security. And Joe Biden became the 46th president in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Throughout this period, issues like climate change gained prominence, leading to international agreements like the Paris Agreement. But there's one thing that stood firm between 2007 and 2023, and that was the reign of Jordan Henley Wood in his home fantasy football league. Jordan, how are you doing today?
I'm excellent. Kind of expect to be here today. This is 5 years in a row of this. But I'm happy. I'm relieved. I felt going into this season, I was handicapped, but I just took that as a challenge to try to rise up and meet, which I've done. And I won the game probably 4 hours ago, and I'm still putting points up now, just to make a point in that. And I hope Will understands that. So, doing great. How are you?
I didn't make the playoffs.
It's tough.
Yeah. Well, I have a series of questions here for you. We want to learn a little bit more about your success in this league. You know, it's been going on 16 years. You and I were seniors in high school, or maybe right after when it started, and you have won 8 out of 16 years. This year, let everybody know when your first draft pick was.
36th overall was my first 2 picks. I took Josh Allen and Mark Andrews at 36 and 37. Lost Mark Andrews for the last 6 weeks. So I only had a 3rd and 4th rounder for half the year.
Yeah. So, you know, trading picks away to win other years sounds original, but it seems to have worked out for you over the years.
Yeah, so going back, let me think. It's 19, 20, 21, 20. Yeah. So 2019, I believe that was the year, the first time I traded a draft pick away to get Alvin Kamara, I believe, who scored 6 touchdowns on Christmas Day that year. So won that year, didn't have a first rounder. Going into the next year, Austin Eckler fell to me, allowed me to repeat. Year 3, I don't really remember 2021 very well, but I won that year too. Jalen was a big part of it last year and this year. I would say my biggest hit across the multiverse of teams I've got this year, including our leagues, would have been DJ Moore. I had a lot of stock in him. He fell to me. Came through really well, especially in these last few weeks.
Gotcha. So If your fantasy team were a movie, what movie do you think it would be?
I like. We've been running with this in some group chats, but there's the Thanos thing, and so this is the fifth stone for me. That's what's encouraging me to go into next year and complete the set. And I'm going to pose to everyone that if I'm not defeated next year and complete the set of stones, then I vote to abolish the league, to erase it from existence, much like Thanos himself.
Well, I mean, at least half the league. You
Fair,
don't have
fair,
the whole thing, buddy.
fair point. Yeah,
Uh,
buddy. Greg's leaving, and
mhm.
I said this earlier. I wish I could say it's the end of an era, but he never accomplished anything. Much like most aspects of his life, he just wasn't successful in what he was doing here. And I'm glad to see him go because maybe it'll bring in someone who cares. Like I knew this year, if anything gave me confidence when the divisions were drawn, I got Buddy and Greg, and I knew then you may as well put me in the playoffs because Buddy has Shawn Michaels talent on his team, but he's Simon Dean when Sunday comes around. He's not good and he needs to pay more attention. And Greg was never good, and I'm glad he's gone.
Well, do you ever get tired of, since you've been born, Buddy and Greg carrying you all the time? Like,
Carrying me.
yeah, can we attribute the majority of your success to Buddy and Greg in different ways?
Um, I don't think they deserve any modicum of credit for what I've accomplished here. Outside the realm of fantasy football, I would also say neither have ever done anything for me. I've one time I changed a tire for Buddy, and Greg broke my legs when I was 2 years old, and I had to learn to walk when I was 4. So, you know, I got wheeled around in a wagon when
Oh
I
boy.
what Greg did for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm just seething with anger. Those aren't laughs. That is my body about to explode. Um,
they can go eat cinnamon rolls and sell houses. I'll be in the champions suite.
so
Eat rolls.
eating rolls. Is this your special? Is it more special than last year? Do you have a favorite out of the 8?
It's nice. This one's right there with the second one as
Mhm.
far as what I had to do. I remember my first 2 ever were back to back. And year 1, Peyton Manning, the 55 touchdown year, that one always is going to hold a special place to me. But year 2, I distinctly remember being 3-6-1. And I had to win out, and I won the division by half a game, won out, and made the playoffs. And it was DeAndre Hopkins' rookie year, at Aaron Rodgers, AJ Green, and went through. And I really had to scrap to get that one. And this one felt very similar. I believe at one point this season I was 4-6, and then the schedule fell my way to finish 3-1. I ended up 7-7. Won my division because my division was garbage, and got into the playoff at the 6th seed. Took care of a bear. Who did I play week 2? I
No,
don't remember
no.
who I played the playoffs. I think it was Wes.
Oh, Wes, a returning competitor who's always played well. He's kind of like the Philip Rivers of our fantasy league, right? He's always kind of made the playoffs, but never really made
Yeah,
it.
I agree with that, and I do love Wes. I cherish him as a friend and as a man, and I attended his wedding, and I was a tuxman for him. But again, if you're a blade of grass, stay out of the way of the lawnmower. You know.
Yeah,
And we had a civil conversation throughout the matchup. Um, and I really wanted to play Ben because I do respect him. Unlike much of the field, had a lot to say going into it, but it also looks like our commissioner, as we live and breathe currently, just won the other league on a catch here. So it looks like the powers that be retain their power.
It let's talk about that a little bit. You and
Okay.
Will Smith of the Goon have, I think together y'all have won the most championships. I think he has two or three. Regardless, how long have y'all been cheating?
We have never cheated. We actually don't speak anymore. There's not a reason. Here, look, here's the deal. Okay. I talk to the Goon. All right. I don't associate with Will Smith, Kevin Smith, William Kevin Smith, WK62. I'm not that's the businessman, that's the professional, and that's not my best friend. Okay, the Goon is my best friend. He's got a lot to say, and he's going to say it. Now, that other league is unrelated. I had the same record in that league that I did in this one. Made the playoffs in one, didn't make the playoffs in the other one. We all drafted in the same draft together. We were in the same room with you. As you saw the process. He only gave me 4 extra picks. And that's not enough to make a difference.
No, it's not. It's
So
not.
when you cheating, I'd like to know, speak English. Tell y'all can tell us what you think is going on here, and we'll show you on paper that it's not that's not the case. Yeah. We're both clean competitors and clean men.
You got the flu. Yeah, I got diagnosed the other day. I think it's just from disappointment. So yeah, you're clean men, and we drafted at a Korean barbecue, listening to K-pop music.
We did. It was a fun night together as friends and as men. We got to enjoy meat together.
Can you list 3 of the things we said about Ben's draft as he was drafting that night?
I know it was all bad. It was all real bad. What is he thinking? Came to mind. He will be the worst team in the league. I hope he likes picking number 1. He created Goy to become Goy himself.
Yeah, that's true.
But there he became the number 1 seed.
He did. Made it all the way to the end, and I thought he was going to win. It is drastic and bad news that the Goon has won and also collected all the money before the game was over.
Yeah, well, it worked out. But Ben did get the number 1 seed, but you know what he didn't get?
The number 1 seed. Oh, you just uh-oh. Yeah. Let's talk. You've been very open that your life was significantly different 8, 10, however many years ago to now. How have you been able to stay so good, but essentially been 2 different people?
Well, this run is all fueled by one current stretch in recovery. Before, it's really a good question. And I think prior, I used to pick players that I liked, and I hit on that a few times. Peyton Manning I remember taking him in the first round in 2013, I think. And everybody said, "You're a stupid asshole." And I was like, well, maybe, but I love Peyton Manning. And then he broke every NFL passing record that year. I didn't think that was going to happen. I just got lucky. Now I've opened up to beyond just one league, and I think that has to do with having more time and brain power to put into hobbies. I'm not doing other things that I used to be doing. So I mean, maybe I've lived two different lives, but I've been the same person.
Oh, gotcha. I wasn't talking about sobriety. I was talking about how you used to be funny and now you aren't.
Okay, well, either way, it was offensive. So
Yeah. Um, Here's one. Surely you have a strategy. What's something like some self-help you could give other football players out there, fantasy football players?
I was about to say I'm not a Ballman. So
Oh, mhm.
for our league specifically, my deal has always been who do I think will be QB1 on the season? Just like this year, I thought it was going to be Josh Allen, and somehow he fell to me. Um, and then defensive strategy. Rotate, don't stay with the same defense every time. Find whoever's playing one of the three bottom offenses in the league. Your chances increase, even if they're not a great defense. There was a lot of bad offense this year. Outside of that, it's don't waste time on waiver wires. Like we have a Wild West free agent system where there ain't no waiver order and putting your bid in or anything. It's you see a guy score, you go get him. I got lucky with a few of those pulls this year. I got Puka Nakua, who is 29 yards away from breaking the rookie receiving record. David Njoku was or Njokoya. That's how it's pronounced. I'm pretty sure. But
Maybe.
I think he scored 4 or 5 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. Like that's the kind of you got to hit on some of those, and I have been very lucky. And I'm not going to lie and say I knew these things were going to happen, but I did know that it was going to happen exactly the way it happened.
Well, is there a certain way you stay informed about, I don't know, player performances, injuries, anything like that? Are you listening to any podcasts?
I do
Are
fantasy
you reading
focus
books?
usually every Thursday.
Who's that?
Fantasy focus.
Oh, okay, okay.
Every Thursday when they do the weekly preview. I will say this. I tend to veer better going with the gut calls than I do now. Like if a gut call is dumb, like I'm going to put in a guy who hasn't caught a pass in 2 months over Devonte Adams or something. Like don't do that. But sometimes when it's right inside that window, a lot of people like to check the rankings and stuff, but I find intuition serves me well in these cases. It's not perfect or everything, but it was enough to get it done for number 5 in a row, number 8 overall.
I think that's fair because we all know I'm a little stinker and I can't stick with my original choice. I look at the
You're,
number.
you're a tinkerer.
Is that what they call it?
You're tinkering.
Stinker. I thought it was a
Tink-
little stinker.
Tinkering bell.
Ooh. Oh. Earlier you mentioned if your reign was a movie, you talking about Thanos and everything. So it's fun to compare it because you've actually been winning the championship longer than those movies have existed.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you could say I have 3 championships because I had 2 years in a row, a one-off, and then 5 years in a row. So like this could be one 5 year long championship reign. Either way though, the first, I guess my first one was 2013, which would have been, I don't remember when Age of Ultron came out, but that's the first time we ever saw Thanos, I guess. So that was around that time, I feel like. But
Well,
yeah, my reign began. I think 19 would have been the year Endgame came out.
yeah.
So as
Well,
one thing passed, there would rise.
Well, I just had a write-in from Javi saying that you are a lot like Marvel Films because you've been around a long time and now nobody likes you as far as the fantasy world goes.
Okay.
Just with all of our friends.
Well, here that's fine. Nobody likes me anymore because I'm the champion. I've been the champion for 5 years. Everybody's tired of it. I got no. I was kind of disappointed today. I was hoping for a little more. How did we allow this to happen? Are we this inept? Are we all worthless idiots? Um, like I expected more of that, but it's almost like you've become accustomed to this ending. And I want, this year, there's a part of me that might have been relieved if Will would have done it because now I get to carry this again into 2024 to potentially go for 6 in a row. And are y'all even going to try?
Mm. So do you think next year is going to be like your Immortals film? Like that's what's going to happen next? Like it's just going to fall off the rails and everybody's going to realize you're a fraud and it was a big waste of time?
Well, I don't think I'm a fraud. I think I've scored more points than people in playoff games consecutive years to win championships 5 times in a row, 8 out of 16. You can't, to the Bama people in this clique, y'all know what this is like. You can't refute the greatness.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I'm at Immortals. I think I'm stuck in Infinity War for good. We're in
Just
a
over again.
just we're in a loop.
Mm.
And I want someone to realize we're in the loop. Because right now it feels like I'm the only one who sees it.
Sees what? The loop?
Yeah, like wake up, guys.
You know what? I'm getting heated. And you're real heated. Okay. Here's another question I prepared for you. Uh, let's just break it down. You're in a bad league. You're in a bad conference. And you know what? Nope. I'm gonna ask you a question. Here's a softball. In a dynamic and ever-changing NFL landscape, how do you adapt your fantasy football strategy from season to season? Or do you just do the same thing over and over again because it works?
Uh there are aspects of this league that will always be consistent, but I take some of these players like Rashad White, DJ Moore, guys that I drafted expecting a boon in performance, and they maybe didn't pan out from the first week, but the volume was there and they blew up. Like that's the homework you have to do every year. Who's moving where, who's going into a situation where they're not contested. Like I don't want to take a wide receiver from a team that has 3 number 1s in the first round because the volume ain't there. Like,
That's,
why don't you speak your mind?
I said that's fair. I said that's fair.
I hear what's about to come out of you. You stopped yourself from talking your nonsense. I see it about a bad league and a bad division.
I stopped. I stopped. I just I donated, I can't eat the sweets right now. And I donated money to Buddy's children through Girl Scout cookies because I just feel bad for him. He's so bad at this.
What does that have to do with anything? I didn't give them anything. They should give me cookies.
I just can't get enough of that Buddy Campbell smile. So what?
Smile.
Hmm?
He can smile all he wants to.
That Buddy Campbell smile.
We
What?
love Pretty can be smile. All right. Anyway.
Well, it's not Buddy's fault. We all know whose fault it is. It's all of our collective fault. You did the best again.
Say what you want about the division. It doesn't change anything about the 3 playoff teams that I knocked off.
That's right. As a group, we failed. But that being said,
11
next
versus 1, and
11 versus 1.
yeah, I won again.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to the group? I know you said a lot
Okay.
already.
All right. Let's run this list down.
I'll give you a name and you tell me.
Okay.
Let's start with Philip.
Oh, right out of the gate. I think Philip sells mattresses, and that lines up with his season because it seemed like he was asleep the entire time. He's a competitor that does not instill any fear in me, and when I've played him in the playoffs in the past, I have celebrated early.
Well, I mean, someone you played him in the finals last year and someone died. You kind of robbed him. But we'll go on next.
Okay.
Uh someone literally died. Bear.
Bear had a lot to say this year, and I tried to warn him about what was coming. But I'll tell you this: week 1, I played Bear, and he beat me like 230-80. Like, and I feel like y'all all got together and had a party without me after that because you thought something had happened. Um, and while it was a humbling defeat, Bear knew the second time we played each other in the regular season, he beat me again. But what he failed to realize was when the postseason begins, a different beast emerges from within me. And he did not take this beast seriously. And I also took all the good quarterbacks away from him. Ha 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 ha.
You did.
But I will say,
That's a fair move. That's a fair move to go and pick up all the quarterbacks.
it is. I learned that from you,
Mm.
and I did it better than you. So,
Okay, so we did Philip Bear. Let's go with Javi, another person that you played in the finals.
that would have been one where if I would have lost, I probably would have killed myself. But he's one of the people that I feel I wouldn't really mind it, and I like good things for Javi. I want good things for Javi. We have our side chats, me, you, and him, with our quirky humor, spoofs, and goofs, and yeah, I would no longer be among us, but that wouldn't have been the worst thing. Now this year, I felt for him, man, because I think he got the fever a little. He was making that playoff push, and he actually finished pretty strong. Just came up a little short, much like 5 other teams besides himself came up short.
Um, he drafted Brock Purdy first, and I'll
We all
never forget
knew
that.
that, and in that league, it actually ended up not being
Yeah,
that bad. I actually called the police when he did that.
as we were having a nice dinner, you called the authorities after he did that. You reported him to the police, also on Xbox and on the Yahoo app.
I paid $40 for ramen at that restaurant. It had shrimp in it.
Oh, God, I'm gonna throw up. I'm so sick. I'm not laughing at that. Okay, who else? We've got a pretty good feel for Greg and Buddy.
Yeah,
Uh,
in closing, let's just go back to this. I want them both to know when divisions were picked this year, I crowned myself the winner of that division, namely because Greg's never done anything worthwhile, and Buddy needs to get back in the kitchen. And you know what? Maybe make me a 5-piece cinnamon roll.
yeah, a 5-layered cinnamon roll.
Take your smile to the kitchen.
Yeah, I don't want Buddy to ever quit this league. I've said some harsh things about him, but I guess him not being good wouldn't have made me better. So,
Seems like
yeah,
you're reconciling some truths there.
yeah. Well, well, anyway, we talked about him. We got, how about the Goon this year?
Just shortly left out of the postseason by I think 40 points or something like that. It's a shame to see it. You want nice things for somebody who puts so much work into what we do, and fortunately, he is. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's winning the other league. So me and him get to be champions together at the same time, which is great. It's what we want for each other, and that was the genesis of the two league idea. Even though it was someone else's idea, is that um, both of us could win, and we did have a secret meeting about it and decided that that's what we would do going forward. So,
Did, was it while y'all were here?
who's the next person?
Okay. Wow. The next person, we already did Bear. What about Ben?
Oh, Bill. Uh, what can you say about Ben? I mean, for one, he just lost the finals in the Money Man, which I'm sure he would tell you is goy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still, even as the number one seed, I thought his team was trash, and I frankly think he's trash as well. I do think he's a former champion in this league. He won it at some time in the 1800s. It's a time no one remembers. My championship reign has outlasted the Queen of England, and Ben's did not.
Oof. That's true. Ben has not won since she has died, and you have won three times, I think.
The Queen died thinking I was a champion.
Well, she died thinking right because you were. So
And I still am in her honor. Love you, Elizabeth.
so could you tell me a little bit, the next combatant, can you tell me about how close you and Michael Weidman have been the past years? Like,
Bush,
I know you
Bush.
two are pretty close and talk all the time, best buds.
He actually accidentally sent me a picture of his daughter eating a breakfast muffin at Disney, and I told him, "Don't send me that shit."
Dear Lord.
I said, "I don't
Uh,
want to. I don't want to see that bullshit."
gotcha.
But
Who does
he does
that?
respect
Huh?
for. He does have respect for me. He has said he makes very passive aggressive remarks at the beginning of every year about why do we do this? Because Joe's just going to win it again, and then me and the goon laugh about that. But don't send me any more pictures of your children. Thank you, Bush. See you in video games.
Seeing video games, Bush. Uh, so that leaves Will, who you played today, and I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but how bad did you beat him?
It is to be determined. It is still ongoing. I have Ty Chandler playing right now. Hadn't done much, uh, but the good news is I didn't need much from him because I won the game 4 hours ago. So um, I had Puka Nakua, DJ Moore today, Josh Allen. Between them, I think there was 11 touchdowns, something along those lines. So um, I had already won, and with Will, he's the latest in a line of those who have attempted to knock me off of this perch. Javi mentioned the other day, which I'll never forget, and I haven't forgiven him for this. He said, "You need to be brought down a peg." And my answer to that was, "I am the peg." And Will learned that today.
So what are you saying right now? That you did? Oh my word!
I am the
You are
measuring stick of this league. I'm the peg.
the
I'm the
measuring peg.
I am the stick at the top of the tree.
And then I guess is that everybody? We got yeah. hmm
Oh, that's not everybody.
Who's left?
You.
Okay. What about me?
Well, you're doing this interview looking like a little cherry because you're so red.
I'm
Uh,
sick. I have the flu or COVID or something.
is that why you didn't make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I was sick the whole time.
Well, I don't need to say anything to you because I know what you want and you're looking at it, and I don't mean me.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Chicago.
What's that place behind you?
Chicago.
Like, is it a pier?
That's the skyline. I'm at Soldiers Pier. This is where I go on holiday every year when I win, and I don't tell anybody about it.
So,
Navy, I'm sorry, Navy Pier.
so you went
Uh
ahead and booked the trip bef
huh.
before they even started?
Yeah, Goon paid for it for me. If you look, the water out there,
hmm
they shot the boat scenes in The Dark Knight. That's
Yep.
actually true.
Yeah.
You had to throw the things off the boat because Joker was trying to blow people up.
hmm
That's where they did it. Ha ha.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
just sleep outside. But
I'll say, you wanted this forum to address everyone, to let everybody know about what's going on and how long this has been going on. And I don't think anybody's leaving other than Greg, your own brother, your own flesh and blood, has had enough.
I'm happy to see you go.
Well, you are you know, if Greg doesn't want to be around you, who do you got left?
Um,
Well, and that concludes our interview for today. It's been nice catching up. And I hope you lose in all your other leagues. I hate you.
can I make a closing statement?
Oh yeah,
To
sure. We got time.
let's do a message to whoever joins us.
Ooh, okay.
Message to the anonymous. Welcome to my kingdom. I have outlasted a pandemic, a monarch. I have had my championship longer than Roman Reigns, and seemingly will have mine longer than him. Time will tell. By the time I'm challenged, it will have been nearly 1,700 days that I've had this championship. Perhaps you can be the one to take it from me. But I would leave you with this warning. There were once 5 mice. The owl flew over.
What's the rest of the story?
It's a thinker.